Most people think a man goes to the garage to fix a broken car. Usually, he just needs to think. There's a specific kind of exhaustion that builds up through the day that's hard to explain, because nothing dramatic happened. Work was fine. Traffic was manageable. Nobody said anything wrong. But by the time you pull into the driveway, something in you just wants to sit there for a few minutes before going inside. Engine off. Hands still on the wheel, staring at the front door like you're waiting for permission to enter your own house. You don't need more time away from your family. You need a few minutes where nobody needs anything from you. Every environment you move through during the day makes a demand. At work, people want answers, and they want them with confidence, and they want them now. In traffic, you make small decisions every few seconds without realizing you're doing it. The moment you walk through the front door, there are conversations to pick up, things to remember, moods to read, and a version of yourself that everyone in that house expects you to show up as. None of these are bad things, but they stack. They accumulate the way small weights do, one at a time, until by the end of the day your mind is running on fumes whether or not you feel physically tired. So, you go to the garage. You might not have anything to fix. You straighten a shelf anyway, move a tool that was already in the right place, sweep a corner that doesn't need it, wipe down a surface that was already clean. From the outside, it looks like puttering. From the inside, it feels like the first real breath you've taken all day. The shoulders drop, the jaw unclenches. You didn't notice either of those things were tight until they weren't anymore. The garage doesn't need anything from you. That's the whole point. There's a real psychological reason this works, and it comes down to how your brain handles unfinished business. Most of what you deal with in a given week is invisible. You're managing a relationship that has no clear resolution. Waiting to hear back on a promotion with no timeline. Trying to shift a dynamic at work that moves in inches. You put in the effort, and the situation stays murky. Progress is hard to measure. Your brain registers that as low-grade stress because it's built to need completed loops, not open ones. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished tasks stay active in your mind, pulling at your attention even when you're not consciously thinking about them. They linger. You tighten a loose hinge. The door closes right. And for 20 seconds, your brain gets exactly what it's been denied all week. A problem that ends. A loop that closes. Something you can point to and call finished. That sensation sounds small. It isn't. After days of invisible effort, one completed physical task can reset something in you that no amount of scrolling or sitting on the couch manages to touch. Without somewhere to decompress, the stress doesn't wait for a better moment. It travels with you. Into the kitchen. Into dinner. Into the conversation you were looking forward to. You get home and you're still at work mentally. Still running the same loop from 3 hours ago. You snap at someone over something small and can't explain why. Problems that are manageable start feeling heavier than they are. Not because they've changed, but because you haven't had a single moment of stillness to put them in proportion. You're reacting to everything instead of responding to anything. And you know the difference, but can't seem to create the gap between stimulus and reaction. That gap is what the garage gives you. A few minutes of low-demand activity where your mind can process, without pressure. You can spot this pattern in places that have nothing to do with garages once you know what you're looking at. A business owner who leaves a tense meeting and spends 15 minutes rearranging inventory in the stockroom before he calls anyone back. A father who volunteers to take the trash out and takes his time returning, standing in the driveway for a few extra minutes looking at nothing in particular. The location changes. The need is the same. A brief stretch where the input stops, and nobody is waiting on you. Here's the part that gets missed in conversations about solitude. People frame it as withdrawal, as if needing time alone means something is wrong with your relationships or your tolerance for people. But the men who use their garage well, who actually decompress and come back, tend to be more present when they return, more patient, more able to actually hear what someone is saying, instead of half listening while the other half of their mind is still stuck at the office. Solitude, used right, isn't a retreat from connection. It's what makes sustained connection possible. Your capacity for attention is finite. When you spend it all before you get home, you walk through the door empty. The people who get your leftover attention can feel it. Even if they can't name it, you're physically present. But somewhere else entirely, the garage fixes that, not by solving anything, but by giving your nervous system a chance to downshift before the next demand arrives. You come back softer, more available, less likely to make the evening harder than the day already was. If you have a space like this, you already know what it does for you. And if you've been grinding through days without one, that low-level friction you carry from one room to the next isn't a character flaw. It's a signal. Your mind needs somewhere to put things down before it can pick anything else up. Leave a comment below. Where do you go when you need to quiet things down? A garage, a workshop, a back porch, or just a few minutes alone in the car before you head inside? If this hit close, watch our breakdown of the 7 levels of men in a garage. It goes deeper into where this mindset leads.